A member of the Irish language rap group Kneecap has appeared in London's Westminster Magistrates Court today, facing a charge of terrorism. Liam Tunney, whose stage name is Mo Capra, is alleged to have shown a Hezbollah flag during a concert in London last November. The band is known for its pro-Palestine positions and support for Irish republicanism. Let's get more on this with Belfast Telegraph journalist Liam Tunney, who joins us now. Now, Liam, firstly, can you tell us a bit more about Kneecap and what a member of the group has been charged with?
Yeah, Kneecap are primarily a rap group from Belfast, and West Belfast in particular. They rap in both the Irish language and the English language, so they kind of intersperse between the two. Now, they've been on the go for maybe 8-10 years or so, but they've really rose to prominence over the last number of years. They had a feature-length film involving the story of the band, so they've really rose to prominence. They played huge festivals such as Coachella, and they are booked in for Glastonbury later on this year. This charge arose particularly a couple of months ago. They played at Coachella, where they displayed some pro-Palestine imagery and some anti-Israeli imagery. That's kind of created this kind of backlash towards them, and during that backlash, footage emerged of the band at a previous gig, and one of those pieces of footage is alleged to have shown one of the band members with a Hezbollah flag, and that's what's resulted in this charge against Liam Tunney, who is a member of the group, also known as Mo Capra.
Can you tell us what happened in court today?
Well, I suppose I'll start with what happened outside court. I mean, hundreds of supporters turned up to welcome Mo Capra, Liam Tunney and the band to Westminster Magistrates Court. There were Irish language activists from Belfast who had made the trip over. There was a live band playing. At one point, a pro-Israeli protester made his way into the crowd and had to be removed by police. So this all happened outside the court. Within the court, the courtroom was packed. Liam Tunney spoke. He confirmed his name in Irish to the court. The prosecutor said that the charges centred around alleged support by Mr. Tunney and that alleged brandishing of a Hezbollah flag at a gig in London in November 2024. Mr. Tunney's defence counsel requested that there may be an Irish interpreter present when it eventually goes to trial. He is denying the charges, I should also say. And ultimately, the court adjourned the case to August 20th with bail granted. Now, that's important, that date of August 20th, because it takes the case beyond Glastonbury. And over the last number of weeks, there has been a clamour for Kneecap not to play their set at Glastonbury. And that's resulted, obviously, in support from a number of other artists who have weighed in on the subject. So the date of that next hearing is hugely important because it takes things beyond Glastonbury, and it's significant in that regard.
And what defence do you think will be put forward, and how do you think this will all play out in court eventually?
I suppose it's difficult to project that, but the defence team that they've put in place is a real star-studded defence team. I mean, some of the most high-profile legal minds are on that case, and it's led primarily by Phoenix Law here in Belfast. What they're contending is that this is a kind of politically motivated trial, and that there's kind of been the band themselves are described as a witch hunt in some ways. So it's hard to really project what their final defence case will be, but I imagine that will form part of their defence.
And it's not the first time Kneecap have been embroiled in controversy. What can you tell us about past instances?
No, absolutely not. The band has courted controversy throughout their career so far. I mean, I suppose you look at a rap group, that's kind of what rap groups do. They attract controversy, but in particular with the context here in Northern Ireland, one of the band members has a balaclava, which obviously has connotations for terrorism here in the north, and historically it's been viewed as that. I mean, that they've attracted criticism from victims groups, victims of the Troubles here, that they're almost that's very insensitive towards them. And what the group say is that it's satire, and they say that they have, they're satirizing the Troubles, and they're not intending to cause offence to victims in many ways. As we say, their pro-Palestine stance has always been very clear. They've made that clear throughout their career, and that obviously has attracted controversy, and that has ultimately culminated in the last number of months with their very public display at Coachella, which is obviously huge. And that's led to, I suppose, greater public scrutiny and the emergence of the footage that's ultimately led to them appearing in Westminster Magistrates Court.
How has this all impacted the group's popularity? You said there were lots of fans outside, but overall, would its support have waned at all?
I don't think it's made a dent in their support at all. And if anything, I think it's increased that. And I suppose this is kind of historically what we see with controversial music groups down the years, where whenever there is an attempt at cracking down on them, that ultimately increases their popularity. And you can see outside the court today the huge support that there was, particularly among the pro-Palestine lobby. I mean, there were huge numbers of people there displaying Palestine flags and chanting their support for that particular cause. That the band themselves have said they're using their platform to further and to draw greater attention to. So I don't think, I mean, gigs have been cancelled as a result of this. There were a number of gigs, one notably in Plymouth when the actual controversy began to arise. However, within hours, the band had booked an alternative gig in Plymouth, and that's something that's been a pattern of this, where one gig is cancelled, they immediately announce another. So on the face of it, it doesn't look like this controversy has impacted their support really in any way. I mean, if anything, they're going from strength to strength, and the numbers outside the court today would suggest that.
And just lastly, Liam, what's the history of this kind of terror charge? Have there been many arrests under the legislation since it was introduced?
That's something that caused kind of controversy and debate whenever they were charged. I mean, and people had people had brought up the fact that there seemed to be a disparity between the use of this charge in Great Britain and the use of this charge in Northern Ireland. In Northern Ireland, there had only been 13 arrests under that particular section of the Terrorism Act since it was introduced. So it kind of gave rise to debate at the time, where is this act being implemented more stringently in England, Scotland, and Wales, and it is being impacted or implemented in Northern Ireland. And I suppose throughout the year here, there are countless displays of paramilitary flags flying throughout Northern Ireland, and I suppose you would think that there would be a higher number of people arrested under that offence, but that's not the case, and that gave rise to some debate whenever the charge was laid before Liam Tunney.